afternoon and happy Wednesday. It is Wealth Building Wednesday brought to you by TRHT Selma. TRHT stands for Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. I am your host, Miss Lydia Chapman. I serve as director of TRHT Selma, and we are delighted to bring Wealth Building Wednesday to you every single Wednesday at 12 noon. So you have something to do on your lunch break, honey, because what we specialize in is getting the information to you, information that you can use to help build your wealth. And today is just like any other show, except that it's not, because we have a gorgeous guest today. Miss Kirsten Perry is our guest on Wealth Building Wednesday. She is the owner of not just one business, because Bridal is what a lot of us know her for, but she also owns some other businesses that hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about, Serenity Gardens being one of those that we'll hopefully be able to dive in during our time with her this afternoon. Welcome, Chris. Listen.
Thank you. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday, hump day.
I know, right? That's exactly what I told some of my colleagues today. I said, well, it's hump day. Let's see what we can make happen. Look. So want to ask you, first of all, because everybody has their different journey, right, when it comes to entrepreneurship and what their understanding of entrepreneurship is. Before going live, we were just having a conversation about, hey, what about the hours? A lot of us view entrepreneurship, or a lot of folks view entrepreneurship as, I want to be a boss. I want to run my own. I don't want to have to work for other people, 8, 9 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Not necessarily the case. So what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
What really inspired me was my children. Being in the corporate world, clocking in and out, as a lot of us know, it's hard to be mom. When the kids get sick, it's not just locking up and going to get your children, field trips, being involved in the school, parent meetings. Unfortunately, being in Selma, we don't have a system that really operates behind the parents' work schedule. By not growing up in Selma, I was in a school system to where that system did operate behind the parents' work schedule, to where PTO meetings started at 6:30 versus 5 o'clock or 4:30. We didn't operate, because if that was the case, there was going to be no PTO. Right. So they gave a second, they gave a time for parents to be involved, but that was really pretty much what it was. It's just being there for my children and not missing out that opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I want to have the and I like challenges. So entrepreneurship is a challenge for yourself. You have to have determination. You have to have strong willpower, because you don't have somebody there to say you have to clock in, or there's no consequences if you don't clock in. Well, the consequences is you don't get paid, because you are your hustle. So if you don't hustle, there's no money. If there's no money, how you gonna live? So, but it was mainly behind my children on why I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And when I started the journey, this will be 8 years coming up December. This will be 8 years that I jumped off the bridge. Okay, I jumped off the bridge, and I asked the good Lord. I said, Lord, I didn't mind clocking in, but I was like, Lord, if I could just be on my own until my children go off to college, I would be grateful. So far, one is off and the last one is in high school. So I'm just asking the Lord, like, okay, Lord, just keep me successful for at least next 4 years. But, I think he's going to grant me a little bit longer than 4 years. And I'll be even more grateful for that.
Amen. And what a great inspiration is to say that your children inspired you to dive off into the pool of entrepreneurship. So now, Bridal is what a lot of folks who, if you are tuned in and watching from Selma, Alabama, and you've heard of formal wear, Everybody needs formal wear at one point or another in their lives. And so KD Bridal is definitely at the top of folks' list. At least for me here in Selma. Like if I need something formal, KD Bridal is where I'm going. And so why formal wear? And was KD Bridal your first attempt at entrepreneurship?
It was. I don't know. When we first moved to Selma, my mom opened up Renee's Bridal back in 2000 and I think 3. And she started Renee's Bridal, and I was involved in that business. Upon her retirement, she tried to give me the business, but I wasn't mentally ready for that because I was like, oh no, don't nobody want to deal with this. No, I'm not. And so upon her retiring and closing the store, I missed it. And it was the love of the profession and seeing the people happy on finding the dresses and seeing the guys excited being in the tuxedos for whatever event, whether it was for a wedding or for a ball or for prom. It was just that excitement. And just being a part of all of the events, and helping these people get excited and dressing them, that was it for me. That was it for me. So I wanted to bring that, bring that back, for me. And so and because I knew it and I had experience in it, I just went ahead. That's where I jumped off the cliff on. And so it's been rough, especially since COVID. The industry has changed a lot, especially due to online. I think people are learning year by year that formal wear is not an online thing. And if you ain't learning, I need you to learn today. Formal wear is not an online thing. Like, yes, like just know photoshopping is real. Quality is a big thing, So but then again, it just depends on what people want to look like. And, but for some, the shopping experience and all of that is important. And one thing about KD Bridal is that we want to make the shopping experience fun for you. And, we do take the extra mile because understand, like, whatever you get from us, we want you to look good. We want you to feel good. But also when you leave that door, when you step out that door with our product, that's you're representing us as well. So we definitely want to make sure that you're happy and satisfied with whatever you got.
So now the personal touch is what I keep hearing you talk about in how you just responded about formal wear. So it was the personal touch, being able to be a part of people's story,
Yes.
if you will. And so I'm wondering though how that works when it comes to a smaller community like Selma, right? And I'm sure some of our viewers are in other more rural locations. So how do you break through the idea that, oh, well, I need to go to, let's say down the road from us would be like Montgomery, or I need to go to Prattville, I need to go to Birmingham in order to get that quote unquote better look or that quote unquote better deal? How do you, as a formal wear professional and having so many years of success, how do you work within those, or outside of that box that folks try to put smaller communities in?
Selma, being in Selma, it's already tough. I hate to say that my success has not come from Selma.
Okay.
A lot of people do
That's
leave
real.
Selma thinking that we don't have nothing. And that's why Selma is declining the way that it is. Because people don't shop at home first. And then they go find what they order online, or they leave town. And then I've had instances where, they have gone to Montgomery, Prattville, Birmingham, or wherever. And then, they'll come into the shop for something else. And then they'll be like, wait a minute, well, that's my dress. And then they look at the price and they go, wait a minute, I paid $100 more. Of course you did. You went to a higher city, so they have to charge you $100 more because their overhead is way higher. So, I just, it's tough. It's tough. And, We just, I just tell people like, hey, you'll be surprised, shopping in a smaller town, I pretty much have a lot of products that the other stores have. I have learned over time that I don't need to carry some of the big brand names because some of the smaller brands have the same thing, the bigger brands. It's just that we don't have to pay for the big brand. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, every year and well, basically every day, you'll learn something new about your business, about what works, what doesn't work. And so you make policy changes or you make internal changes that's going to work more for your industry or your demographic location. And so it's just a constant, your mind, being an entrepreneur, your mind does not turn off. It's not as cute as people make it. There is no clocking out. There is no, I had to actually learn to turn it off. I actually had to learn to say, you know what, today I'm not working today. I'm not thinking today. I'm not, even though I say that, but I'll end up thinking at least 15 minutes out the day. But I had to learn to cut it off, but it really doesn't turn off. And so it's just a constant on what can I do to better my business for my community. And the only disheartening thing is like being in a location like mine is that no matter how much effort, it seems like what can I do more to get more support from my community? And you're there like, hey guys, in my business, you are a client. You're not a number. Understand that. Right. You're not a number. So, if you call me on a Sunday, because prime example, I'm closed on Tuesdays. And last week I had a customer that rented a gown, and it's Monday at 5:30 and her event was Tuesday. And I'm like, she did not come to pick this gown up. Yeah. I called her and I said, hey, Miss Such and Such, you gonna come pick this dress up because we close tomorrow? She said, oh my God, I was coming to pick it up tomorrow. I'm so glad you called. I guarantee you a corporate place or a big time place would not have thought about that because that's not their motive. They're not thinking about that. And so these are the kind of gestures that you get with shopping with a smaller business, and you have that more hometown feel. And I'm going to keep that. I love that. Yes. I love that hometown feel. Yes, it's 2024. Everybody's used to the internet and AI and whatever. I'm not with that. So I like that hometown, that client feel. I want to talk to somebody. Don't chat with me online. No, I'm talking to a real life person. And so, so support the small business in your hometown. Yes. And if you don't have it, like I tell people that come in, I don't have everything, but hey, when they come in and I can't service them, I do tell them, hey, I appreciate you coming, looking for what you need here first. I let them know that I really appreciate them thinking about me though.
Absolutely. And that makes the difference. Like you said, in larger cities and even online, when you place that order, honey, you get an email with an order number. So you are nothing more than a number, the order number and the $ number. But for small business owners like yourself who provide top-notch customer service, you really, you create repeat customers. Yeah, right. And generational patronage, right? So who knows, your daughter may choose to come back. Look, I know.
That's a real slim.
Yeah, I know that's not her thing, but but who knows how long KD Bridal may be around, right? And so to have some of the same people who came for like their wedding gowns and the dresses for their court, to have their children come and get their prom dresses and things like that, that's
and I have had that already, and it kind yes. When I first started, I have had some of my seniors when I first opened that I have had the honor to do their wedding gowns and bridesmaids. Yes, so it was kind of, I'm like, oh, Like y'all were babies. Like,
Right. Like they're not
or
babies
even
anymore.
now, I did their prom dresses, and then now, their babies are in pageants. And
Mm-hmm.
it's, I love that. And it's creating memories because I'm like, oh, I dressed your mommy. And
Yeah.
now, I'm dressing you for your first pageant, so it is special little moments like that. And I love it. And
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
So, what were the first few steps as you thought about going into business and you said, "Hey, you know what? I want to revitalize. I love that feeling that being able to be of service, especially in the formal wear business. I love the feeling that provided not just for me but for the customers."
Mhm.
What did you do as far as like the first few steps as you were approaching, I guess, the bridge to jump off?
Upon taking the step to jump off the bridge,
Mhm.
first you have to look at your personal finances, because the first year you have to have a savings,
Mm.
because that first year or two of business, you have to put money into the business unless you are starting a service, unless you are providing a service where you don't have to put money into a product to sell.
Mm.
Um, but you have to look at your financials and say, okay, what is my savings looking like? Because there's a good chance that this business will have to carry itself and it might not carry my household.
Mm.
And so that was step number one. Um, and then step number two was budgeting. Like, okay, well, how much startup money do we have? Or, do we need to take out a loan? And if we do take out a loan, what type of, what can we afford as far as payment wise a month? And then you have to look at the building, what's the rent gonna run, what's the utilities gonna run, what's the insurance gonna run, how often
Mhm.
will I have to buy product. You have to also look at, with my, I could share, like, with vendors will require you to purchase a certain amount in
Mhm.
order to even carry them. So, you have to look at all of that. And so it's not just doing the legal paperwork. It's, oh, that's another thing, the legal paperwork. Well, you got to do all that before you do
Mhm.
anything. But, that's just the starting, doing the legal paperwork, that's just putting your name on the map. But that doesn't really make you, just because you got an EIN number, that doesn't make you a business. That just says that you just got an EIN number.
I am so glad you said that because that is so important for folks to know that it is that the legal side of the business is important, but so is doing your research, because what I
Mhm.
heard you say was I had to do my research. I had to
Mhm.
know what it was that I was spending personally every month. I need to know what it is that I can afford to spend on this business every month. And based on that, I need to make certain financial decisions to be prepared for what ifs, right? Because there's so many businesses. One of the most volatile business atmospheres is the restaurant industry, right? Which is a part of the reason, especially in small towns. So it's not just happening in Selma that people step
Mhm.
out, right? To use your metaphor, jump off the bridge into entrepreneurship. And if if your industry is as a restaurateur, then that means that you are entering a field that has a lot of or a longer period of time before folks are able to actually see a
Mhm.
profit typically. Now,
Yes,
are
it's
there
a long.
folks who jump in and are like overnight successes, right? Yeah, there's some pinkies out there who open things like Slutty Vegan and they are just everywhere,
Mhm.
right? But then there are most times the opportunity is there for us to open the business. Like you said, you did your research, but for restaurants, it can be really, really scary because
Mhm.
the inventory. So what are your thoughts about that?
Um, it's all about how you do it. It's all about how you do it, and you have to know. You can't move too quick.
Mm,
You have to know.
mm,
I remember I had a conversation with another entrepreneur, and he, how did you do it?
mm-hmm,
And like I said, the first 3 years of Katie was, I opened and closed every day by myself because I could not afford an employee.
mm,
I couldn't afford to pay anybody. because I'm still saving and I'm still, you know, all the money that was being saved, I wasn't even paying myself
Right.
because it was like, no, I need that just in case I need more inventory, or just in case the power bill is higher this month because it's a little colder this month, or it's a little hotter this month,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, you just don't know what's coming. And, you don't know what's coming. You know, prime example,
Right.
COVID.
Who
COVID
knew?
hit, COVID hit me in my biggest season, prom. We were
It
shut
sure
down.
was.
Yes, yes, and you're like, now wait a minute, who gonna pay for these $40,000 of inventory I just ordered? Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, that's where your faith comes in.
Yeah.
That's where your faith comes in, and
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is a long term investment, and it's a gamble. And it might work and it might not work. If it works, perfect, excellent, good job. If it doesn't work, guess what? Still, good job.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you gave it all that you had and you did everything and you did the research and it just didn't work. Okay, on to the next. That's what life is about. So don't, if you tried the business and it didn't work, it's either go back to the drawing board, look at what you did wrong
Mm-hmm.
and do it again, or either be like, you know what, bucket list, tried it, didn't work, on to the next. But at the end of the day, don't kick yourself down. You challenge yourself. And, if you just didn't get the support, or things just didn't go right because of your market,
Mm-hmm.
don't kick yourself down for that. Entrepreneurship is a gamble. And, sometimes, like going to casino, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
So what you are absolutely right about that. So what would you consider your greatest challenge in the past 8 years as an entrepreneur owning Katie Bridal? What would you consider your greatest challenge that you faced, or challenges if you have more than one that sticks out to you?
I would just say my greatest challenge right now is basically my area.
Okay.
We
Mm-hmm.
have great products. We have great customer service. You know, I haven't had, you can't please everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, that whether you own a business or you work a job, you're gonna have some complaints. But I can literally count on one hand the amount of complaints I have had at Katie Bridal, and I have done everything that I could to try to satisfy them, whether they were right or wrong. But basically just getting my area to support Katie Bridal. Like, I really hate the fact that I have to say, like, my success doesn't come from Selma. Like,
Yeah.
I really hate to say that. I want to say, like, thank you, Selma. I want to say that. And I'm in Selma because Selma deserves better.
Yes.
Selma deserves more. We are the queen city, but where the queen at? Like, we deserve this. And,
Mm-hmm.
we're here. And hey, y'all give Selma, like, support the little bit Selma got a little. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, hey, like I tell people, I go into Selma, I go in and I look first.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Go in, look first. If you're looking for a formal wear gown, like I tell people when they come in, hey, I'm looking for something. Okay, well, you might not can't explain to me what you're looking for, but I know you got a screenshot what you're looking for. Show me that screenshot. I might not have exactly what's on your screenshot, but I probably got something real similar to it. And so, it's just that's really like my only challenge is, getting people to give me a chance, even though I'm in Selma. And I tell people all the time, like, hey, yeah, like, my price, I can't I can't compete against the internet, and I don't try. I'm
Right.
not the internet. Like, I'm not the internet. Like, I'm human. I'm not a click. I'm not a clack. You don't have to figure out your size by yourself. The quality, there's not a comparison in quality. So, there's not a comparison. So, I just tell people, like, hey, give Selma a try, give Selma a chance. Come see us at Katie Bridal. Come see what we got. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I promise you.
Now that's the show enough truth. Listen, so want to ask, you talked about the challenge of being in a smaller area, being in a city like Selma, where folks can sometimes just write off,
Mm-hmm.
every vendor, every business in the community, just because, oh well, we're in a small town, thinking, right, that because we're
Mm-hmm.
in a small town, that the quality may not be there or the selection may not be there. And
Right.
so I personally want to just encourage everybody, especially if you live in a small community, try your hometown first. Like, try
Mm-hmm.
Selma,
Try
right? If
something.
you are watching and you live or you even work in Selma, if Selma brings you down the road to work
Mm-hmm.
every day, shop in Selma.
Mm-hmm.
Come find your wedding dress in Selma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come find whatever it is, because we do have a lot to offer
Mm-hmm.
in our community. And in talking about the challenges, I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the triumphs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you consider to be some of your greatest accomplishments, or is there one that like sticks out?
I survived COVID.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I survived COVID. So many formal wear shops did not.
Mm-hmm.
And my heart goes out to any business owner that had to close behind COVID. And it's been hard. And we had to make cutbacks, and we had to make difficult decisions. And by the grace of God, by the way I have moved and done certain things, um, I'm still able to open my doors. And uh, that's I would say that's like one of my biggest accomplishments, is that, hey, I'm December 7th, I'm gonna celebrate 8 years being in business.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm so grateful. Like, I'm so grateful, because it was it got rough.
Yeah.
It got rough for a real strong minute. But God is faithful.
Yes, he is.
God is faithful. And
Amen.
he'll test you. Whew, he will
Mm-hmm.
test you, and you'll be like, okay, well, whatever, do you,
Listen,
I'm riding with you. That gas light on, and it's saying we got 3 miles to the empty. Whoo, okay. But, oh, okay, well, you saying the gas station 5 miles, but that light saying well, you know what, we're gonna go off your faith.
mm-hmm.
So, it's one of those. And I feel that we're coming back around, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm just gonna stay open. I'm gonna stay open. But and I just pray about things, and
Amen.
whatever the good Lord tells me, I just go with it. So I would just say my biggest accomplishment is getting ready to celebrate 8 years being open, surviving COVID, still being here, able to be here for the formal wear needs of people of Selma.
Amen. So I'm excited for you. On December 7th, you'll be celebrating 8 years in business
Eight
as
years,
KD Bridal.
yes.
So now, but you've also broken some barriers in some other areas, right? Aren't there other businesses, one in particular, that is a more recent accomplishment?
So I am co-owner manager of Serenity Memorial Gardens.
Yes.
Got that back in 2018. Um, so purchased with my parents with that business, and that's I love that business too.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "How's a cemetery your baby?" So that's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Helping those families during the most difficult times.
Yes.
The best way that we can. I have a special love for that,
Yes.
because it's hard. It's hard when people are
Mhm.
grieving and going through tragedy. Some are prepared for it, but some are not. Some have gone through it before and they know how to handle it, and some do not. And so, helping people find a beautiful resting place, being able to walk with them on their journey through that, that's a special place in my heart. And then, like I tell people, I had the privilege of taking care of your loved one for the rest of my days.
Mhm.
And so, Yeah, so Serenity is another baby of
Yeah.
mine. So that's also another balance that you have to, that's where that willpower comes in, where it's
Mhm.
like, well, now it's not one business, it's two businesses. So, I also have to know my limit too, because if it was up to me, I'll be running 30. But I'm only one person, and I
Yeah.
and I like to be hands on.
Mhm.
I like to be hands on in businesses. I have been given the opportunity to branch off as far as opening up in a second location for KD. I turned it down because I can't be in two
Uh,
locations at one time. And I try to be present. I haven't been present in the last year and a half because I was in school, but I'm done with school now. So I'm back present in all the businesses. Yeah.
Yes. And so I wanted you to just kind of share that because multiple streams of income looks different depending on what your goals and what your passions are. And
Mhm.
so in both of those spaces, whether it's formal wear or making sure that Serenity Gardens is well taken care of as a resting place for people's loved ones, both of those require a special touch. And one of the things that I notice about you just as a person because this is not my first encounter with you. So
Mhm.
we've known each other for years. Something that is it really I've consistently noticed about you and your energy is that you are compassionate, right? You actually care. And so there's a degree of that caring that is constantly poured into your business regardless of the realm that you enter. And so acknowledging that is important. So I just want to say thank you for being who you are and providing such top-notch customer service. That's not an experience that we have all the time. And so it's really important to thank people when they go above and beyond and call folks, to say, hey, I'm not going to be open tomorrow, or to sit there with that loved one who was just simply not prepared,
Right.
right? To have to make such a critical decision.
Right.
And so yeah, so thank you for all that you do to help make people's lives easier, honey. You get us when we get married, when we go live, we're doing different types of pageants, and then you get us some, we when we come to lay folks to rest. And so you are a part of people's lives and are in some of the most pivotal moments um, of life. And so thank you so much for having such a caring heart and willing hand. Want to just really quickly before we wrap up ask you about if you were just starting out, Chris, what's one word or a couple of things that you would give yourself as words of encouragement or advice? If you saw younger Chris, right, 8 years younger, walking towards the bridge, like, okay, I'm thinking about entrepreneurship. I think I want to, go back into formal wear. What do you see yourself saying to yourself?
8 years. Um, but into like today's day, like today.
Yeah, if you could take all the knowledge that you've gained over the past 8 years and say something to the 8 years ago, Chris.
I don't know if I would have did things differently.
Okay.
That's just being honest.
Hmm.
I don't know because it was the experiences that I have gone through with my business that has transformed it to what it is now.
Hmm.
It's it's kind of like people can give you all the advice they want in life
Hmm.
and you can take the advice. Well, let me say it like this. Growing up, your parents give you all the advice,
Hmm.
but you still got to get your feet wet to learn life
Yeah.
and to get it. That forms you into the adult that you become.
Hmm.
And it's those life lessons that mold you to who you are.
Hmm.
So I don't really think that it's nothing. I don't really think it's nothing I would have told myself other than what I did tell myself, like just jump. Just, I jumped and it was times I was like, you are crazy. Are you crazy? You are crazy. I don't think it's anything I would tell, other than hang in there. It's okay. Just, as an entrepreneur, um, you're going to get negative thoughts and you're going to think you're crazy and you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, I can't believe I'm wasting my time. I can't believe I wasted this money. I could have done this. I could have done that. That's the devil. Be faithful, think positive thoughts, do morning affirmations, tell yourself you're great today. Today you will be successful. And a successful day might not include money. A successful day might be, I went through a lot of paperwork today, or I responded to all emails, or I responded to all phone calls, or I got my to-do list done. That might be the successful day, so just always be positive and, just do that. And one thing I would probably tell myself 8 years ago, I just thought about it. It's okay to say you need help.
Okay.
I just thought about it. Yeah. I would probably tell myself it's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to say, hey, can you help me? I have 60 dresses that need to be steamed. Can you come in and help me steam these dresses? Or, something like that. That's when I was running the shop by myself. And it's okay. It's okay to say, I can't do all this by myself. So, but otherwise than that, as an entrepreneur, it's going to be lessons in the business, and it's going to mold you. And every day it's going to be something that you're going to learn new, and you just implement it in the business, and you're going to learn some hard lessons. That's going to be like, oh, I'll never do that again. Or, and the real entrepreneurs, they know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you this, I hate when people say everybody can be an entrepreneur. No, they can't. They cannot.
Right.
They cannot. The first couple years that you're an entrepreneur, that is not your money. That's your business money. Don't look at it as you finna ball out. I mean, unless your situation is set up different and you don't have overhead, or, some people have a business where they can operate completely out of their home and they just run a service business. Now, that's totally different than the business that I run, but I run a product business, so I have to buy product. But I have product and overhead, so it's different. But if that's something that you really want to do, research, make sure your financials are there, know that it's a gamble, and jump off the bridge. The only way you're going to know if it works is if you jump off the bridge. Life is about taking risks. And, don't get to 70 years old and just be like, I wish when I was 35. I tell people like that, life is about living. And one thing people can say about me, Kirsten's living her life. I'm not going to, I can't make it to 70 and be like, dang, I wish I would have opened that business. I wish I would have ran for corner. I wish I would have went to school. A wish is just a wish, but just go on out there and do it. Try. Just try. If it works, it works. If it don't, oh well. Keep it going. That's my motto. Try.
Yes, at least try. And that's what we encourage folks to do with Wealth Building Wins. Is just try, right? Because the term wealth actually is something that could intimidate a lot of us, right? Because, many of us are one paycheck away from assisted housing, needing assistance for housing, one check away from having lights and gas and things like that. So the idea of wealth seems so far off. But if you make those modifications, if you do the things that you said, if you do your research, right? It may not be entrepreneurship that is your path, but it may be home ownership. It may be getting a new car. It could be financing your children's education. Do your research, all of it. Do your research. Right.
Wealth is just wealth is all about what you make of it.
Yes.
A lot of people have so many definitions of wealth. Some people be like, oh, you got to drive a Mercedes or a BM.
Absolutely not.
That's not my definition.
Nope.
Like, my definition is living life comfortably,
Yes.
driving my Ford.
Yes.
And I love
Yes.
my big body Ford.
Yes.
So, it's all about being comfortable in life,
Yes.
and that's it. Just being comfortable in life and doing what pleases you.
Yes.
You what
Yes.
pleases you.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. Do what's best for you and your family. Um and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Be
Yes.
happy, be healthy, and worry about you and your family. Yeah, that's
Yes.
it. Move to your motion.
Yes. Listen. Yes. Let your motion be your motion for
Yeah,
real.
let your motion be your motion. And don't worry about nobody else
Yeah.
and what they think or just do you. Do you. Yeah.
Well, I
So, but
want
thank
to
you for
again thank
having
you.
me. I
Yes.
really
I want.
enjoyed our lunch conversation,
I
and
know, right?
hopefully I gave some good bullets. And if anybody was watching that, maybe it was teeter totting on maybe making a career change, or even if it's not entrepreneurship, maybe if
Hmm.
it's a career change, and maybe if you're looking at jumping from this career to that career, and but the income is going to be different, jump
Hmm.
jump. Because at the end of the day, trust that God gonna make up that difference.
Yes.
Jump.
Amen.
Happiness is everything.
Yes.
Happiness,
Happiness
like
and
if this
peace.
career is gonna make you happier than this
Mhm.
career, do it. Because it ain't worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it. But entrepreneurship is not for the weak.
At all.
It's not for the weak. It's
Right.
not for the weak. You're gonna have sleepless nights, and you're
Mhm.
gonna have tearful nights, and you're
Mhm.
gonna have early mornings, and some things will stress you out, and you will cuss.
Mhm.
You gonna cuss. I'm a cusser. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a cusser. And some things will be out of your control.
Mhm.
Like, I don't make the products. I don't do the shipping. Like, but I try to, I can only go off of what people tell you, and that's how you can run it. But you'll learn over time. You'll learn your shippers, you'll learn your vendors, you'll learn. You'll learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So y'all go out there and be great.
Yes.
Do your research, do your thing, and I hope I've encouraged you, and jump.
Yes. So I am so glad you said that about jumping, because we want to encourage each and every one of you all that are watching. If whatever your question is, whether you're looking to start a business, start a new career, buy a house, like whatever that transition is, as long as it sits right here, right in
Mhm.
your heart, and then you can get your mindset on that thing, because nothing can stop a made up mind, right? So once we make our minds up in positive things, honey, do what she said. Jump. Take the
Jump.
leap.
But
Let's
like you
jump
said,
into
your heart
wealth.
has to be in it. Your heart, it can't be directly behind money. Your
Right.
heart has to be in it.
Exactly. You
Mhm.
know what? And I know we're trying to wrap up, but that is the one thing that every entrepreneur that I've interviewed, that's the one thing that each of you all have said, whether it has been a question or like an inadvertent um answer, like, or response to the conversation, each and every one of you all have said something about it has to be a part, it has to be your heart, like you have to desire to do it. That's where that great customer service comes from, right?
Mhm.
That's where that caring comes from. That's
Mhm.
where it isn't, I'm not considering how much I made tonight or how much I made today. It's about, okay, what were the partnerships that were forged? How,
Mhm.
have I been able, Connie, listen, can I please check off all of the things on my to-do list just once? So whatever those things are that we're seeking to do, we want to encourage folks to do that in excellence. So thank you so much for talking about the need for us to have our hearts tuned in to our choices when it comes to entrepreneurship. We have lots of comments going on. If you are just now tuning in, would love it if you start all the way at the beginning and add your comments there as well. You'll also see all of some great notes that Miss Chris has shared with us today. You are going to live your life, and we encourage you to live your life and invite wealth into your space. Next Wednesday, we look forward to seeing you here. We have some more great guests coming up throughout our season 4. This is our 4th season of Wealth Building Wednesday. I want to thank each and every one of you all for tuning in. Please like, tag, and share this video. You can even subscribe so that you know when the Black Belt Community Foundation and the Selma Center for Nonviolence, when we post new material, including Wealth Building Wednesday. Again, thank you, Miss Kirsten Perry, for being our guest today. And we look forward to helping each and every one of you all build your wealth. Have a great week.
All right. See y'all later.